were told AI would make us more productive. Faster companies, smarter systems, infinite efficiency. But in 2026, we're discovering a terrifying truth. A machine can produce a product, but it cannot buy one. And that changes everything. We are watching the gears of global capitalism slowly grind against themselves because we forgot the most basic rule of economics. Silicon doesn't shop. Corporate profits are exploding. Stock markets keep climbing. Innovation is moving faster than governments can regulate. But if you work in IT, finance, consulting, or business services, it probably feels like the floor is collapsing beneath you. For decades, the global economy relied on one simple trade. Companies in the West exported digital work to cheaper labor markets. India, the Philippines, Eastern Europe. That system created entire middle classes, but now that model is dying because a new worker has entered the market, and it doesn't need a salary, a desk, or sleep. This isn't just a bad quarter. This is a structural shift. Companies are replacing entire departments with AI systems that work non-stop at near zero scale cost. On paper, it looks brilliant. Higher output, lower expenses, bigger margins. But there's a massive flaw hiding underneath the numbers. Most economies are built on human labor. Taxes come from salaries. Consumption comes from workers. When you remove the human from the system, GDP can still rise, while society quietly collapses underneath it. Think about the basic flow of capitalism. Companies pay workers. Workers buy products. Money flows back into companies. That loop keeps the entire system alive. But AI agents don't buy groceries. They don't pay rent. They don't raise children. They don't consume. And when consumption disappears, the economy starts eating itself. In countries like India, this becomes an existential problem. Entire tax systems depend on middle-class knowledge workers. If digital labor replaces human labor, what funds the roads, the schools, the future? And here's the irony. The software companies driving automation may eventually destroy their own customer base. Right now, AI companies look unstoppable. Every quarter brings bigger profits, bigger automation contracts, higher valuations. But there's a question nobody wants to ask out loud. What happens when the consumer disappears? In the short term, replacing workers with software looks like genius. No healthcare, no payroll, no office space, just subscriptions and servers. Margins explode, shareholders celebrate. But economies are not spreadsheets. They are human ecosystems. Banks automate workers. Retailers automate workers. Logistics firms automate workers. But those workers were the customers. They used the banks, bought the clothes, ordered the deliveries. The system begins collapsing from the inside. This is the real danger of AI. Not evil robots, not consciousness. Economic cannibalism. Companies are automating away the very people who kept the machine alive. And eventually, there may be nobody left to sell to. So, how do you stop capitalism from collapsing under automation? Economists already have answers, at least on paper. The first proposal is simple. If humans disappear from payrolls, governments stop taxing labor and start taxing automation itself. Tax the compute, tax the digital output, replace lost income taxes with machine productivity. The second proposal is even more radical. Universal basic income, a permanent financial floor funded by AI-driven productivity. The logic is simple. Even if people stop working, they must continue consuming. Otherwise, the economy dies. But this creates a deeper question. If survival is guaranteed, what happens to ambition, to status, to the social hierarchy we build civilization around? Because once AI handles most digital labor, human value itself begins to change. For centuries, our economy worked like a pyramid. At the bottom, mass human labor. At the top, a small class of highly paid knowledge workers. AI flips that structure upside down. Knowledge work becomes cheap, infinite, instant. But physical human presence becomes rare. And rarity creates value. A handmade object, a real conversation, a person physically solving a problem in front of you. Those things suddenly become premium experiences. This is what economists call the dignity premium. Once survival is guaranteed, people stop accepting miserable labor for low pay. To convince humans to do difficult physical work, you must compensate them far more. And suddenly, the plumber may become more valuable than the middle manager. In the AI era, mass-produced intelligence becomes cheap. But humanity becomes luxury. Human-made food, human-made art, human-made experiences. The imperfect human touch becomes the new status symbol. And honestly, for a moment, this almost sounds beautiful. A world where people work for meaning instead of survival. But there's a problem. This future requires something humanity has never possessed. Infinite power, infinite resources, infinite money, and none of those things actually exist. Every AI dream depends on physical infrastructure, electricity, cooling, copper, silicon, power grids, massive industrial systems running non-stop. And in 2026, those systems are already under pressure. There's a dangerous illusion spreading through the AI industry right now. People assume software scales infinitely, but physical infrastructure does not. You cannot code more electricity. You cannot instantly expand the national power grid. And you cannot escape thermodynamics. There's another problem nobody wants to discuss. Advanced AI is expensive. Very expensive. For many complex tasks, running AI systems can cost more than the human salaries they replaced, which means some of this efficiency revolution may actually be a massive capital bubble. Even the world's financial safe zones are vulnerable. Luxury economies depend on global consumption. But if the global middle class disappears, tourists disappear, investments slow, luxury towers empty out, and governments run out of options. So where does this leave us? Right now, we are living through the automation bubble. Companies are replacing humans to satisfy shareholders. Governments are losing their tax base while promising social stability they may never afford. And humanity is betting its future on machines that are already colliding with the physical limits of reality. AI is not simply helping humanity, and it's not simply destroying it either. It is forcing a complete reboot of civilization itself. Because an economy without humans isn't really an economy at all. It's just a very expensive, very fast calculator running in an empty room. The future belongs to those who stay human.